hiatus. The crew is back together. This Shelf is Dusted, episode 13. And I'm going to start with a rule. Rule number 21. When you have absolutely no idea of what's going on, strike a pose, yell as loud as you can, "It's going according to plan," which is, I think, what we do on just about every episode. That's actually come from an audio book that I've been listening to called Dr. Anarchy's Rules for World Domination, and I highly recommend it. It's highly amusing. There's 36 rules in there, including how to treat your henchmen. Anyway, tonight or today, whatever time frame people are listening to, we have with us. Now, this is going to be a good one. Dinny Hazardana, who delves knockout blows to her gaming opponent. Hello, Dana.
Hello. What the hell are you talking about?
That's okay. We also have with us Juggernaut Joe, whose overwhelming force of personality will make you want to play Steam.
Hello, everyone.
Then we've got Sagacious Stuart, who will... Well, I don't need to say any more. That was absolutely perfect. And then last of all...
Thanks for that one.
Yeah, and the last one is Jurassic John, who never remembers anything. And now I am really worried. Anyway, we're finally all back together after a while of downtime. And what we will start with is what we normally do, is what games have we been playing? And I'm going to start with Dana.
Well, I've actually played quite a few games because we've had such a long break, although I have had periods of not playing games because I've been away with my children, and that immediately puts me on a almost like I go on the dry, like an alcoholic, and suddenly I have no games and I go completely cold turkey when my kids are around. Anyway, so I played, and I managed to get my kids to play this. I forced them to do it, as usual. A newish game called Acropolis. I don't know if you've heard of it or not. It's a tile placement game, so Joe, you won't like it. But I'm going to show it in the thing just so you can see what the cover looks like.
All right, yep.
Anyway, it's actually really good, and the kids actually asked me to keep playing it, and I didn't have to fight them to play it. It only goes for about 15-20 minutes, and you're just placing these, actually it's very good quality, triangular tiles which represent certain districts, and the districts connect to each other, and depending on where you place them, you score points. It's just a tile placement game, very basic, but it comes with some additional variations that you can put in if you like. But I was really impressed that when I actually got the game, the tiles actually come already pre-punched and already placed in like a little, sort of like a little insert type thing, a little cardboard insert. It's actually very, very good. And I think anybody could play it. It's an excellent game. So I'd highly recommend it. I think you would like it more than Barron Park. I think, Joe. No? Oh, okay.
No.
The other game I want to talk about, and Stuart would know what I'm talking about, Abduction. A weirdly strategic duck kidnapping game. This was a Kickstarter that arrived maybe a month ago or so, and it cost me an absolute fortune. The publisher would only post to the United States, so I had to get it sent to like a shipping forwarder, and then they forward it to Australia, and of course it cost me a bomb just to get it posted to Australia because the postage costs are pretty bad at the moment. But it's once again a very simple game, but it's you've got a board with these little coloured ducks, and the ducks are so cute. I don't know what they're made out of. Acrylic? I'd say they'd be acrylic.
Yeah, I think they're plastic or something, I think.
Mm. Anyway, gorgeous coloured ducks that are in two rows, and you can play cards to try and manipulate these ducks. And the idea is you're trying to get certain patterns to score victory points at the end of the game, but you can manipulate other people's ducks. So for example, you can take other people's ducks and move them around. But the best thing is there's this little rubber spaceship, and I think that's the only reason why I bought the game. There's this little rubber spaceship that
It looked
kidnaps.
like a pie to me when I looked at it.
Oh, well,
from a
it
distance.
looks like a dog toy or a kid's toy or something like that, but it's got these really cool little rubber flaps, and you stick your ducks in there, and it's really, really cool. That's the only reason why I bought the game, because of this rubber thing. It actually, to be honest, it looks like a diaphragm. So
Oh, okay.
looks like an enormous diaphragm.
Welcome to the adults only version.
Well, I don't think I was laughing when I said we're going to do an episode on sex and board games, and I think Dana's already beaten us to it.
Oh, that's it. Anyway, I highly recommend it. It's good fun. That's it.
Good. Stuart.
So since I've last been on, which has been a few weeks, I played Abduction, Dana mentioned. So yes, amazing game, and yes, the little silicon rubber duck that holds all the little ducks is very cool, and is an amazing game. Also, the lovely Celestia, played that a couple of times. Seems to be a favourite of our group on Tuesday night. So yeah, that's a great game. No swearing was had between myself and my lovely wife. And played Space Base, again, another favourite. Great game. And then Tuesday just gone, we're on Friday now, so a couple of days ago, played a game called Bluff, which was a interesting one with some dice. You have to sort of try and bluff your way through the game. And then, and I saw, John is holding up a copy he got. And then sticking with the duck theme, we played one called Sitting Ducks. So no cool little silicon rubber duck spaceship thing, but it's a similar one with cards, and you've got to try and sort of knock everyone else's ducks out by actually shooting them. So it's like the old school duck shoot type thing you see at an old carnival or a fair or whatever you want to call it. And you knock other people's ducks out, and literally the last duck standing wins. So that was a really good game, and that got really tense right at the end when it was just Liz and Kylie, and we're all like right in. It's like it was just so suspenseful. Like who's going to win? It went on for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then I think Kylie finally ended up winning. So yeah, so that's what I've done the last couple of weeks since I've been on here.
Oh, cool. Joe, we've only had a few games, haven't we? And it's mainly been on Board Game Arena, hasn't it?
Yeah, there's been a couple. I've managed to fit in the usual couple of games of Celestia as a bit of a warm-up, but mostly to try and get people kind of enthused into some of these lighter games as well, before you kind of hit the heavies. Space, which I managed to win, of course. So I'll just chalk that down as Dana won all the others, but I won Space. It's a wonderful world, but just touching on new ones, I got to play and subsequently have acquired another one of Martin Wallace's little gems called Via Nebula. Not sure if you have heard of it.
That's quite old, isn't it?
It's probably 2013, 14-ish.
Yeah.
It is a bit of a precursor. There's a lot of mechanics in there that have subsequently come out in more of the more recent, and I'm not going to mention which games, etc., because there's a bit of brass and in it, and so there's it's a really good light to mid. It's strategic. There's elements of tile placement and a bit of building, but essentially the aim is to get your 5 constructions built, if you like, and be able to beat other people to it and get as many VPs can. So I played that at the more recent Community Place event held a couple of weeks ago, and certainly went and bought it straight away. I did a teach of smartphone. Again, I'm surprised at how many people actually like it after having a go of it. It can be a bit, how do I describe it? It looks a bit challenging with a lot going on, cubes being placed everywhere, the research track, the how you try and figure out a little puzzle to produce whatever goods. But ultimately, I did the teach, and the person ended up buying the game in the second-hand kind of market. So I'm really pleased. I think that's a hidden gem on smartphone. I don't get it out enough. Longshot, always a great fun little game. So I've had that out now a couple of times, and did get to try Sagrada for the first time. It's probably equivalent to or lower than Barron Park on my hit list. So you take it camping, throw it in the bonfire, keep yourself warm at night. So that's probably what it's good for. Yeah, so not too bad. I probably would have liked to sink in a few more heavies, but it's just been a bit challenging with the school holidays and work, etc.
So speaking of bonfire, wouldn't another one that go really well on bonfire be Age of Steam?
Yes.
Would that one go well on a bonfire? Because it's got Steam themed, maybe?
Yeah, that's right. It's lots of cardboard. Yep.
Yeah.
Wouldn't last very long, though.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to throw it in.
It's like its popularity,
No, John. With all the expansions.
Sorry?
With all the expansions.
Oh, okay then. So it has spits and spurts before it goes out, is it?
Yeah.
Oh dear. Almost as good as the Estates.
Yeah, look, if I was to say, if I had to really limit myself down to 10 board games, in all reality, I would have Age of Steam in there, because I just think it's so replayable. But again, I admit it's not for everybody, and it is certainly one of my favourites in there. And I think the other one that I'd certainly take would be, and it's always a soft spot for me because I like to teach it, is Architects of the West Kingdom, particularly with the higher player count with all of the expansions. My wife would probably like me to take Wingspan and Viticulture if I wanted to torch myself and poke my eyes out. I would add them in.
Fair enough. Well, what have I been up to? Well, I've recently celebrated a milestone and acquired the age of 60 in this jalopy of a body that I'm currently inhabiting. Dear, and I'm still waiting for my second OBE to arrive, but it'll come eventually. So what did I get to play? Well, I've played since our last one, Ratland. That was one that Mark Chi brought along to LXG. Exceptionally good, and I'm quite happy to see that First Rat has finally appeared on the shelves here in Brisbane, so I'm acquiring a copy of that very shortly. I played Lockup, a role-player tale. That was really, really good. The not quite auction style, but certainly the placing your bids for the locations that you're wanting to win makes a very, very cutthroat game. I played Underwater Cities. I quite enjoyed that one. Conquest of Paradise. That's another one of Mr. Chi's wonderful games that he's brought along, where we have the conquest in the Polynesia area. So that was good. Family Business. Now, this is a game from about 1980. 81, and it's all about gangster families rubbing each other out. So highly recommend that one. Dogs of War. Tony Cheng brought that along to the to my birthday celebrations, and that was quite good. And but apart from that, a lot of them have already been covered by Stuart. So there was Celestia. Bluff. Well, I managed to, it was only by pure chance today that I spotted that my friend Paul, who does my laser cutting for me, I walked past his game cupboard and saw Bluff sitting on the shelf. And I said, I must borrow this. So I've managed to borrow it from him, but I've got to throw the board, because the game itself is quite simple enough to manufacture, so it's not like I really need to own it, but who knows, I might be able to weasel it out of him in due course. And of course, the other one that I quite like is Sitting Ducks. and cannot find copies of that floating around anywhere at the moment. So I'm going to have to keep my eye out for that. So they are all the games that I have been playing. So this evening's topic that we're going to be looking at is that Stuart has set up a group that, well, a group? Would we call it a group, Stuart?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's getting
Or
that way.
An association perhaps. But anyway, we meet at a place called Club Southside, and it has proven to have taken off quite well. And this is, pardon me, Stuart's baby. So go away and flog it well, Stuart, and head for that long shot victory.
Yeah, so it's something that, I got into board games with Joseph sort of showed me a little game called Twilight Imperium many years ago, and I also got into board game, and I discovered Club Southside. Actually, Liz, my wife, had a work meeting there and asked me and Charlie to come down for dinner after work one night, and thought this was really cool. And then I think we went there with Joseph and Roz and Mateo, and then, yeah, it just grew from there. Dana and yourself, John, Carmen, Fee, Karen, a whole bunch of sort of regulars started joining in, and now we just got other people from other sort of areas around the south side of Brisbane sort of keen. So I think we've got about 22 people in the group association, what do you like to call it, regularly getting 8, 7, 8. I think we had 12 one night, but it's just growing. So it's something that I want to sort of get even bigger and just have everyone who's on the south side of Brisbane to come along. It's a great venue. It's like a Club Southside is like an RSL type sort of club where it has a bistro, so you can have a meal. They always have specials on. And yeah, so we normally get there sort of 6:30 every Tuesday, have a bit of a dinner or a meal, and then see what games have been brought and how many people got going, and put some games on the table. But yeah, it's something that's getting bigger and bigger. And I was talking just before we went on air to Joseph, probably start up an actual proper sort of group on good old Facebook, and start sort of promoting a little bit more around the wider board gaming community around sort of Brisbane.
Yeah. Because now I've lost my train of thought. Don't worry. Try and fill in the blanks while I'm trying to find my marble.
So those people who are thinking about or looking for a game group in that area, what should they just turn up, or what's the story?
I mean, they're definitely welcome just to turn up. As I said, pretty much there's someone there every week now. It's pretty much been the last 6 weeks that we've definitely had people there. We've had a couple of nights where we sort of had people due to work commitments, family, other commitments they couldn't make it, so we haven't had anything. But then a few of us ended up on Board Game Arena. But it is something that is becoming a more regular thing. As I said, I want to start up which I haven't done yet. My lovely daughter Charlie just made up a little logo, as I've shown you guys before, and start up this board game, or Southside Board Gamers, as we're going to call it, group, and then everyone and anyone who's in it now can invite people in. But yeah, definitely, if you're listening to this and you're not in the group or anything, please come along to Club Southside Tuesdays from 6:30 for dinner. And then games after that. It doesn't cost us anything for the actual venue at the moment. So the only thing I suppose we'd like to sort of do is to support the club by buying a meal and some drinks, because obviously we're not paying any rent or any sort of fee for the location. So just to support them. But yeah, you're welcome to come along if you're listening to this and you're on the south side or even bay side of Brisbane. Come along and have some board games.
Right. Well, I must admit that the staff that are there at Club Southside are wonderful. There's a couple of ladies that will normally come up and have a look at what we're playing, and they're inquisitive. They certainly don't, I guess, cast strange looks at us, which was good, because I must admit when we were playing bluff and those dice were rattling away, that was quite a noisy bit of an interlude. But it was interesting too, because they had what did they say? I think 105 people were playing trivia Was it trivia?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was just over
Yeah.
100 people, but
Yeah.
we
So
didn't even notice them.
because normally they're saying, oh, sometimes we don't get that many. So, but no, the other thing, talking to Kylie, talking about trying to organise or get something like the north side, the community place on the north side. Well, I must admit, I've been hunting around looking for places that can sort of fit that bill, but I'm afraid, not very many. But oh well, it'll be something that we will continue to pursue anyway, because certainly, I find sometimes it's easier to go to other venues than sometimes trying to organise games with myself. Although I must admit, Dana and I are becoming I'm not even going to say it now, exceptionally good at playing Ark Nova, aren't we?
Speak for yourself.
Sorry?
Speak for yourself.
No, you can speak for yourself. You're beating me at the moment. According to Board Game Stats, I played 40 games of Ark Nova last month.
Oh, good Lord, you've got a lot of time on your hands.
Well, considering that only 9 of them were against actual opponents, so I guess I played with myself very well, thank you.
Yeah.
An exceptionally good pool of games.
It is actually, it's a great game on BGA because it speeds up the game.
Oh, it speeds it up. But even so, our games sometimes tend to go for almost 2 hours when we play.
Oh, yeah, about 2 hours, yep.
Yeah, and that's only 2 of us, so I'd hate to think what would happen if we threw in and went for the max. It certainly would be a fairly long game. But, so for us, we've got LXG coming up this Sunday, so I'm hoping to be there. And what else has been happening? Not too much. Kickstarters. Well, Kickstarters, there've been quite a few with Joe posting around. I think you're starting to wrap up Tio, aren't you, Joe? It must surely be coming close to, or has it finalised?
Yeah, there's no, the pledge manager's open for a few of them, but just to put it into context is we have the SEQ board game Kickstarter group, currently a public group with about 250 people in there, but we're going to have to possibly change it to a more private group, fortunately, because of the challenges to maintain the quality control with bots and other illegitimate profile pages, kind of lifting the numbers and creating a bit of an admin overhead. But I think the group has been, as we've mentioned before, we've got moderators with Joyce and Cassie who lend a hand in managing that site. But over the last probably 3.5, I think nearly 4 years, we've actually pushed through quite a bit of money as group buyers and been able to start to work more closely with publishers and small business to keep getting some good deals for the group members. So the context around this one is we've delivered 21 Kickstarters already. So that's arrived, handed out, and archived. There's another 31 awaiting arrival, so they're at various stages of production and on the way for delivery. And I've got 16 currently open, which right now, where it's either the campaign hasn't closed or the PM has just opened. So 16 compared to what we had originally done in 21 archive. So this year's been quite an interesting year for Kickstarters. I think it started off a little bit slower than normal, and then March, April, May, and with kind of May being, the bigger impact on your wallets, I think. So there's been some pretty expensive Kickstarters come through. Hey Dana, Scarface, All In, Legacy, Deluxe.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew it. I don't even want to know.
I've just done the calculation. If you want all of it.
Oh no! Please do not say it.
How many Aussie bottle tops does that come in?
No,
do it.
I'm embarrassed. Don't even say it. Oh my God, I'm gonna need therapy.
Well, just say what it is in euros. It was 359 euros, wasn't it?
Oh, God, what about be quiet? Don't you people understand?
I didn't say it in Australian dollars, did I?
I haven't mentioned anything. And that doesn't include shipping. So because it's weight-based shipping, the more we we buy, often the better it gets. But look, I've noticed that for some of those really, really good games that people kind of are a little bit shy on, like Gemini, I think it was one of those. It came out in a pretty good price. We've delivered on Lagrange. So Lagrange costs the group about $110 all up, because we were able to get a retailer group buy. Because I work very closely with the publisher, we actually got our shipping around the same time as everyone else, as opposed to having to wait 3 to 6 months towards the end. But you can't, when you think about how beautiful that game is and the quality of the components, and it's the same manufacturer and publisher as what is going into TO. I didn't back Lagrange. I was looking at it and kind of umming and ahhing, and I'm not going to let TO. I'm not going to pass up TO if I'm going to get that level of quality for that price. So yes, there's been a bit of an increase. If I have a look at Voidfall, excellent, 4X Space Euro that we've all been salivating for those that like Eclipse and Twilight Imperium, etc. And the all-in package with that was $320. A lot more of the board games are coming out that are twice that. So when you think about anything that comes from, look, Burn Cycle, Too Many Bones, anything out of Awakened Realms, you're looking at tipping a lot of money in. So the quality of the components keeps increasing, but a large portion of the costs are attributed to shipping and distribution, a significant element to it. One of the other announcements that I published a couple of days ago is for the listeners is our partnership with Modus Coins out of Brazil. So we've been able to get them on board, and we're looking at putting through group buys every 6 to 8 weeks, where we can bring in custom made coins. There's about 50 board games that they currently have custom designed coins for. Excellent quality. Like, I can't speak any more highly than the type of production that we received. So if you are listening and you are thinking about embellishing your most favorite board games, I think it's very, very well worth considering jumping onto their website and having a look and getting back to us. But more importantly, we have the opportunity to provide some feedback to Modus Coins about what type of board games we'd like to see new coins developed for. I think Dana would be very, very keen for some beautiful obsession coins.
Yes.
Etc. So just partnering with them, we can get some custom made play mats and other embellishments as well. So that's a really good and exciting announcement that they can offer the people here in SEQ, and if there's any other people beyond SEQ that are listening, certainly come in and join the group and save some money. But the first 21, to put this into the context of how much money has been saved, the first 21 Kickstarters that we've delivered has delivered of savings of about $20,000. That's savings of $20,000.
Yeah,
We've probably put through $50,000 plus worth of orders to that extent, and our biggest one has been Castles of Burgundy, which is about $3,500 worth of investment, and about half a ton worth of board games and components. So that's by far our biggest. But talking to people who support the board game industry around that, all of the designers, Martin has a pipeline of some excellent work that's coming out, and when you think about the window, the operating window, if you put it in that context of when Kickstarters are being released, it's highly competitive, and you kind of look at it at May, and with interest rate rises and people looking at their collections, they're having to be quite decisive about where they invest their money in. But then there's always the fear of missing out, or the regret factor Dana had with Scarface, I think, in that, or Stuart with Age of Steam and the 4 volumes of games as well. But the other and the last piece of snippets here is, I think, John, you're now on to your 4th Kickstarter.
No, can't
yes.
be. Can't be.
Yes.
It's only,
No,
what was it, TO?
It pulled out of the last one, I think.
Yeah, I pulled out of Scarface. I couldn't I was
Just
just looking at
justify
how
the
bloody
cost.
expensive.
Possibly 3 then. Okay.
It's only 3. So, and of course, they're all figments of everybody's imagination. Because I don't do Kickstarters. Remember that?
Yes.
No.
Of course.
No.
You're sensible.
So with 16 Kickstarters going on at the moment, we will need some more support for people to coordinate. Some are potentially either smaller ones or bigger ones. So if anyone wants to know how to do it, what type of tools, how to engage with publishers, and does have a little bit of extra time that they want to put towards helping others save more money and continue to invest and support the hobby in that volunteer capacity, then certainly reach out to me and we can I can help in that space. But lots of this year is probably the year of breaking wallets, I think so. Indeed.
Yeah, I've a feeling it's not going to get any cheaper. Certainly not in any foreseeable future. I noticed.
Well, the exchange rate, John.
Oh, the exchange rate for
you know,
Australian bottle tops is
horrendous.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
For those that are really good at maths, it's 359 euros at 0.599 euro to the dollar.
Mute. Going on mute.
So the euro is at 60 cents. The American's not.
Oh, it's 63, isn't it?
Yeah,
63, 64 cents. It's not much better.
But shipping.
Shipping.
Has,
yes,
pardon the
exactly.
pun, but has been a killer.
Yeah.
There was Pioneer Rails. The cost of the board game, which is a flip and write, was 24 British pounds, and the shipping was 20 British pounds. So if you didn't do a group buy on that one, I managed to get 2 other people in on that one to meet the maximize the shipping, and it still came out at 10 British pounds, but that's certainly better. There's a 10 British pound saving on that, and that's, I don't know what the exchange rate, it's got to be 50% or worse, I think.
I think it's about 54 cents or something, 54, 53. It's not good. We always,
But I think, taking the Kickstarter and the coordination and the Southside board game group, I think that's what it's called. Having a chat to Kylie, who runs the community place, I think there's a really fundamental point in here about what board gaming offers to the community in terms of being able to get people to feel comfortable in a space, but also re-engaging in that social element. And a lot of studies and now subsequently grants have come out about what we call the loneliness factor, to kind of say COVID has had a significant ripple effect, and we haven't actually dealt with the impact of COVID from a social element, and it's only now that we're starting to see strategies particularly coming out to support the ability for people to kind of come together and particularly new people and support them through board gaming. So if you've got any ideas, shoot an email to the community place or Northside Brisbane Board Gamers, or drop us a line on the Dusted Shelf or the Shelf is Dusted podcast and Facebook, because we wouldn't mind hearing from you if you have some feedback and some opportunities that we could look at.
Good. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it for tonight. Dana, did you have anything else you'd like to contribute?
No, I'm actually feeling depressed.
Oh, dear.
After all that. God. Oh,
dear.
God. But I've heard it's a very good game, and I love the theme. I love the theme. I don't have anything like that.
Scarface?
And, yeah. Oh, sorry. I am talking about Scarface. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm going
So
to...
Scarface, 359 euros.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, there goes my pension paying for that.
That's it.
yeah, it's
I'd have to learn to start eating cardboard, I think, to survive the fortnight before I could.
By the
come
time
up for it.
you add, Stuart, by the time you add the banking conversion and the vendor rates to that, you add at least another $20. But yes, sorry to eat up all of the mic here, but again, Hegemony, Scarface, and a couple of other board games like La Granja, there has been the regret factor. So my only advice to people is that sometimes things don't come around as a second reprint. Or there's a big delay, and we're looking a lot forward to potential reprints of Uwe Rosenberg's work as well around Newford and some of those classics.
Really?
So hopefully,
is that right?
Yeah, so it's been out of print for a while.
Yeah,
People have been really chasing the expansions, but I'm hearing along the industry grapevine that there will be a masterpiece done out of it in the same vein as Tio will be remade. And the other one that keeps coming up and down is extremely rare is the City of the Big Shoulders. So if anybody is listening to it and see it come up on Marketplace, do not hesitate to throw $150 at trying to get that game. I've been fortunate to hold it. I think Shane Tonkin had it and he sold it and has regretted it ever since. So he'd probably hate me for mentioning that. But it's one of those holy grail games that the game designer wasn't able to continue, wasn't able to get it manufactured as a second reprint. Somebody picked it up and it's kind of been delayed, but it's an economic board game. I think Carmen would absolutely love it if she hasn't already had a crack at it. But yeah. So my only advice is yes, be selective, but the best savings that you can really get in a very, very tight marketplace and where that you've got to maximize your dollar is through those group buys. So even if it's £10 and it turns out to be $20, you do 5 of those and you've got a free game. Somewhere along the line. So, looking at those 16 Kickstarters, if you've, backed every one of those, you've probably earned yourself, 4 or 5 free games as a result of the savings.
Stuart, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, talking about that, like I went in the AEG expansion, the one that has like the expansion of Space Base, a War Chest, I've gone blank for the other 2 games. I went all in on that one, and that's going to be
Point Salad, I think, wasn't it? No,
Cubitos and Tiny Towns.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I went because I didn't have any of those games. I went all in. It's going to be around 300 Australian. But when I priced out, because they're doing really good discounts for all the base games in the previous expansions, I think I was saving about $800 Australian going on what the best price I could find online for all the base games and current expansions that are out at the moment. So that's why I've gone, haven't got those games, going to jump in on that and get the 4 new expansions for those games. So yeah, as Joseph said, there are definitely savings to be had.
Yeah. It's just, I guess, a sad indictment of today's economic uncertainty is that our hobby has certainly moved into the luxury capacity for a lot of people, and I think the seeing that games are just a working man's way of entertaining themselves has really gone out the window now. I think with the I guess it disturbs me that the fact that it's always we have to offer more and more in our games rather than actually just providing a game that meets the needs. But I guess businesses are there to make money. And if there are people out there that are willing to spend it, then I guess they're going to buy it. But it does make it for a rather frustrating time for a lot of people who would love to enjoy a lot of the games that are out there, but just find that they're unfortunately fast becoming beyond their capacity to be able to afford. Yeah. But sadly,
even if you wait for end of year financial sales, you look on the board game marketplace and you can get some good deals. I think there's still an inherent cost that doesn't make it affordable or accessible for most, and particularly as we move into some of the tougher times financially, which is why I think community gaming offers that opportunity for people at least to try it, like, try Sagrada and then realize that it's ready for the bonfire. Don't buy Barron Park type thing. But
once again, we don't want to scare people off by introducing them to Age of Steam at the first time they turn up, do we?
No.
Come to LXG.
They'll never come back.
I will show you Age of Steam, and I'll even sign a copy for you.
Fair enough. All right. Well, look, we're getting close to the end now. But what I will share with you is there's a little bit of a controversy running around in Great Britain. Oh, sorry, it's not Great Britain. Sorry, it's the United Kingdom, where the delightful company called Games Workshop has their grand tournament. And apparently there has been some cheating in the event with somebody turning up with loaded dice. I'd suggest people go have a look. It's on YouTube. It's by a content creator called Hellstorm Wargaming. And the bloke, sorry, I shouldn't say bloke because I'm not sure if it is. Anyway, they said this individual got in a huff because they went and got some salt to put in some water to test the dice to see if they floated and things like that. Well, anyway, apparently this individual dumped their dice in the loo before leaving. And one of the people discovered them floating, not floating, but literally at the bottom of the toilet, and they were making fun of the fact they were flushing the toilet. The dice wouldn't flush away, but they were constantly rolling sevens. So the dice was coming up 6 and 1. Go and have a look at it. I thought it was highly amusing. As they said, the list that the chap took was incredibly competitive, but to think that you had to cheat to sort of, yes, it's strange. Hilarious what people will do to win. Like me, always forgetting how the game plays and taking an extra turn or something,
that's right,
or things like that. Look, I'm an old man. I'm allowed to forget these things. So, look, everybody, thank you very much for participating tonight. Thank you to our dear listener who has been waiting anxiously for us to return to air. Hopefully, we will be back again in due course. So, till then, put this podcast on replay and listen, and we'll catch up with you later. So it's good night from me.
Good night.
Au revoir. A bientôt.
Good night.
Bye-bye.